How bad are Liverpool, and how much are you loving it?
I don't know if there's a word that describes my delight in how poor they are at the moment.
Is there a chance, though, if Sean Dyche throttles Klopp tonight, that...
What, literally throttles him?
Throttles him, I hope he does. But do
you
reckon...
mean tactically throttles him?
Tactically throttles him. He's already done...
Where is it? Is it at Anfield?
Yeah, I believe it is at Anfield. I don't think Everton do too well there, but...
Never.
New manager bounce, you see the effect it can have. He's already done a number on Arteta, and I think Klopp could be next in line. And if he does lose, do you think the pressure starts being on what he's meant to be this next generational manager that he was meant to be?
I don't get why there isn't any pressure on him.
I think they call it credit in the bank.
Yeah, but all right, Thomas Tuchel won a Champions League and he had credit in the bank and he got a bullet with a quickness.
Do you think it's too much loyalty? I think that's what a lot of Liverpool fans are saying about Klopp. He has too much loyalty to certain players, because there's a question I want to ask is, if we talk about the likes of Jordan Henderson, Fabinho, Thiago, that's an ancient midfield. In terms of Jordan Henderson, could he possibly be the worst club legend in top 4 history?
That's a different question. On Liverpool and why are they bad, and on the midfield and why the midfield's ancient, right? They've had so many opportunities to replace some of these players, right? They brought in Keita for Pogba money. It didn't work.
Under the radar, that.
Yeah, and never gets brought up. They let go some real players who probably went on and had better careers following that, like Wijnaldum. They've not effectively replaced any of the players that are in there. They're constantly trying to replace their forward three. You know, they've brought in big names. They should have let Salah go. You know, they brought in Jota, they brought in Núñez, they brought in Diaz. There doesn't seem to be any clear pathway. I'm looking at what they've hit a 30-year cycle of what United did in 6 years.
And there's some very, very out there reasons for, not even reasons, rumours why, but in terms of what's going on there now, is it just one of them times where time's up for Klopp? Because a lot of people have kind of lamented how well he's done in terms of his tenure and saying that he's up there, and in terms of the Sir Alex's maybe, or even the Peps, as much as I want to say, in terms of Premier League managing history. But if they did finish 10th, which it looks like they're capable of doing, the average league placing during his tenure would be 5th.
Yeah, and Solskjaer's is what, 2.5?
I think the averages are a little bit skewed there. One's been longer. But
it has been longer, but it's been a fish, because what's he finished? 8th, couple of 4ths, couple of 2nds, 1 1st. The anomaly is the 1st.
Yeah, the anomaly is the 1st.
And they're going to say, oh, we got loads and loads of points. You got loads of points in an era where everyone's getting loads of points. Arsenal look like they're going to hit that sort of points tally this season. Chelsea of a few years ago under Conte, not a vintage Chelsea side, they hit a mad 94 points or something like that. They hit a points tally that I don't think Jose quite got to, right? It's just the nature of the beast at the moment. Premier League teams, the size of the squads, they get more points than they ever used to.
Do you think they'll hang that in Anfield there?
Yeah.
We finished 2nd to Man City a lot, who are a really good team.
United have finished 2nd as many times as they've finished in the Klopp era.
I think people skew it by saying they're Champions League runs, but
they did have a Champions League run, and they did win the league, and we didn't win the league in that time. So you got to give them that. They won the league, right? But what was they up against? Yes, they was up against, for whatever reasons, a cashy Manchester City side, right? That was unfortunate to them. But every other team was in their banter era. Arsenal was in the banter era. United was in the banter era. Spurs was in the Spurs era. You had Chelsea going through just a madness of not doing anything whatsoever. So what did you do? What did you do?
I'm not too sure. Obviously, you know.
Is he the most overrated manager in Premier League history?
I think he very much could be. And that is no exaggeration. And you got to do it in terms of how it's weighted. He's seen as, and he's put on such a pedestal that I don't think he has as much to show for it as people assume, because I think some people in Merseyside would put him on the same kind of pedestal as a Sir Alex, etc.
Why is he on a different pedestal to Kenny Dalglish? Kenny Dalglish came 2nd and won a league.
I think the excuse they gave him is...
Ranieri come
no,
third.
It is. The excuse they gave Klopp is because Klopp has I think he might have won every single trophy there is to be able to win it during
One,
his time.
never retained any of them.
But
and never managed to do like multiple like big trophies at least in a season, even though you pose with them. Posing with the trophies don't mean that you won them in the same season.
Yes, exactly. And probably one of the mistakes Klopp's made is, you mentioned Salah earlier, is they've got a very, very strict wage structure, didn't they? They always did. They never paid high wages. They were very kind of regimented in that aspect. And then for a lot of pressure, they broke the bank on Mo Salah. And then he's followed it with probably he's basically packed it in. I think his stats in Champions League are still good, but I think he's only got 7 goals in 20 league games this season, which for the average player could be okay, but for what Mo Salah was, it's a fall off.
He hit a real sort of high mark, didn't he, and set a standard. How do you reckon this game's going tonight?
I think Liverpool could be in a bit of trouble. I think Everton have enough athleticism, enough bounce about them with Sean Dyche, and they actually have enough ability in the team, especially going forward, because I saw that first time when they came to Old Trafford. I think they could hurt him.
You see the game against Arsenal? All I saw was like Onana and Doucouré just running in midfield. Yeah. Now they're going to run over. If it's Henderson, Fabinho, Thiago, they're going to run over that midfield. Milner, he's still getting games. Yeah, that's going to get run over in midfield. And then what they did really well was putting balls in the box. He didn't manage to get a goal, but how much of a threat did Calvert-Lewin look? You can't tell me if he comes from Trent's side, Trent's not going to see him. He's got that just focus on where the ball is mindset that we see with Harry Maguire last season and this season. I think they get done from behind Trent.
I think they do. I think if they're playing against a Doucouré and they're playing against an Onana and just a Gay with a midfield trio that probably could have the average age of 92.
And how much of a start is that for Sean Dyche? I don't know if they can go and win, but they can get a point.
But if that comes back to what I said at the start though. If they do win, because I know how much that game means to the Merseyside, if Everton actually get a victory at Anfield,
they don't get many.
I think it's squeaky bum time for Klopp. And if Klopp's under serious pressure and there's rumours of him being sacked, or he does get sacked, how much would you pay to be front seat for his post conference, for his press conference? Because I feel like
I don't think they'll sack him. I think they're so in denial, blinded, or whatever you want to call it with him, that they're just going. They'll start blaming the weather and the moisture content of the grass, and which way the wind came from.
I don't think there's anything more drinkable than Klopp's tears.
Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.